Ikuya, let's take a look at your newest essays. Fast food becoming more popular. Let's see what you wrote. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether growing fast food industry is acceptable or not. Although some argue its positive sides, personally I strongly agree with its demerits. This essay will argue both sides using examples from some research to demonstrate points and prove arguments. All right. There are a handful of things that I want to talk about in this essay. Quickly, let's just talk about the grammar. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether the growing fast food industry is acceptable. Maybe, because you're talking about a specific industry. So maybe you could have said the. Uh, then, obviously, you had a spelling mistake here. It should have been argue. Now, that was pretty much it in terms of grammar. The rest of it was fine grammatically. Now, what I want to talk to you about really, though, is how you rephrased this. I really believe that your rephrasing of this was very loose, and maybe you should have been a little more focused and a little more specific in terms of what you talked about. Why am I saying that? Because this is not just about is fast food good or is it bad? You've really oversimplified this. What they're asking you is really much more detailed and it's much more complex. They're giving you a situation. They're telling you that we're eating less and less traditional food now because we're eating more fast food. This is negative for our families, individuals, and society. Okay, these three very specific elements of our life. So, do you agree with that or not? Okay, so what you did is you oversimplified all of this and you said, although I think fast food has the growing fast food industry, although I think it has positives, I think that it has more negatives. That's not what you're being asked to talk about. Okay, the situation that they're telling you is that this replacement of traditional food by fast food is negatively affecting these three elements. To what extent do you agree with that? So you can see that it's much more focused than what you wrote. So what does this tell me as an examiner? Well, essentially, it's a red flag because I'm thinking to myself, well, there's a very good chance that this is going to be an essay without focus. It's going to talk to me about the positives of fast food. It's going to talk to me about the negatives of fast food, and then it's going to be done. That's not what it's asking. Okay. Now, maybe you did talk about everything that you were supposed to talk about. However, you have to remember that your introduction is essentially, telling me what you're going to write about. And so it's a red flag as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So I need you to be a lot more focused. I need you to more faithfully rephrase what is in the question. Okay. And then, of course, you have to make sure that your body paragraphs reflect that. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. On the one hand, there is some evidence that shows merits of fast food. The central reason behind this is twofold. I would have liked a semicolon here. Firstly, fast food restaurants are relatively cheaper because many of them are chain stores that can benefit from mass production. Secondly, these shops make consumers save time not only by their simple cooking process, but also due to the delivery service which many takeaway shops have. For example, a recent survey from the UK Department of Food showed 70% of citizens went to fast food shops more than once a week because of their need for time saving. It must not be forgotten that although old-fashioned dinners are suffering from these stores, the vast majority of people enjoy their convenience. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that fast food shops meet the needs of plenty of people. Okay. So, you're using the template, and that's great. I see that. That's wonderful. I would like to see the organization of this paragraph a little differently. So what do I mean? I mean, you said that they're relatively cheaper because they're chain stores that benefit from mass production. Okay, great. So can you get into a little bit of that? Like, what does that mean? So just explain it. Even though it seems maybe self-explanatory, you had this idea that you just assumed we understood. You assumed it was explored and that it was enough. Well, it's not enough. you really do need to go to the trouble of explaining what you mean. Okay. So you could say, for example, that clearly when a fast food chain orders in bulk, orders, maybe raw ingredients in bulk, they will be able to then turn these savings over to their customers, as opposed to a smaller restaurant serving traditional food that does not, have this possibility. Okay, making fast food cheaper. So you want to show this contrast, and you want to show here why traditional food loses. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is who are you talking about here? You kept talking about people, people, people. You're supposed to be talking about families, individuals, and society. So it's really important for you to reference this. So say, therefore, individuals benefit from this convenience. Okay. Or, society. Well, how does society as a whole benefit from this convenience? So you need to refer back to this. So again, it's not just about people, but it's about these specific groups of people. All right, let's keep going. On the other hand, although there is a case for takeaway shops playing important roles for mass numbers, keep putting an S here. Mass numbers of people, the negative impacts of these shops cannot be overstated. It is largely from, that's a little strange. This is largely a result of 3 reasons. I don't like these commas here. You're doing so many different things, and a comma is not enough. So you could have said here, colon. A colon would have been good. Okay. So firstly, the high level of sugar, fat, and other additives, which are common in fast food restaurants. All right, grammar. All right. Firstly, the high level of sugar, fat, and other additives, which are common in fast food restaurants. High level, which are common in fast food, might cause serious non-communicable. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. When I read it again 2 or 3 times, it made sense. For example, a recent study, lowercase a, conducted in Australia found that someone living in close proximity to fast food is more likely to have a heart attack. Okay, why? Why does the proximity help? I don't understand that. Maybe you should have said that someone who eats fast food 4 times a week, not the proximity. So what are you saying? That there's something that happens when you live close to like a McDonald's or something? That doesn't make sense. So rather than saying close proximity, say that somebody who frequents a fast food establishment 4 times a week, they are more likely to have a heart attack. Secondly, people are being robbed of the simple but influential act of sitting around the table with their family because of the convenience of drive-through. Because of the convenience of the drive-through at their favorite fast food restaurants. Okay, why? What do you mean? What is happening? What's resulting in this? So you want to say that, they're driving through and they're eating on their own and they're not eating with their family. They're not preparing meals with their family. Okay, so take it a step further. Thirdly, the fast food concentration is generally found throughout low. I don't understand that. What do you mean the fast food concentration? What does that mean? I don't understand what this means because you didn't explain it. Okay. So when you say something like this, that fast food restaurant, this is what you meant. Fast food restaurant concentration is generally found throughout low income areas. Why are you telling us this? Where's the support for this? Furthermore, a late study by Harvard University, no, not a late, a recent study by Harvard University showed that people residing in these areas suffered higher rates of diet-related disorders. Okay, so here's where you're extending it. But this furthermore, it really threw me off. And so this is just a great way to highlight the importance of having really accurate linkers, okay? And of course, this will affect your coherence and cohesion score. So you said generally found through low income areas in the USA. What would have worked here was, in fact, or that you could have said, let's say, The negative impacts cannot be overstated. You said the fast food and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Um, you know what you could have said here with no furthermore nothing is just recently a study by Harvard University showed that people residing in these areas suffered higher rates of diet related disorders. Okay. So even something like that would have made more sense, but you did support it. It just your linker wasn't really accurate here, and so it created some confusion. All right, consistent with this line of thinking is that it is difficult to ignore the unacceptable influence of fast food stores in not only a personal and family level, but also on a community level. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that the huge increase in the number of takeaway shops is unagreeable. Okay, we'll talk more about this in a minute. From the arguments, it wasn't one argument, it was many. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that the enormous numbers of fast food restaurants will cause severe damage to our society. So, will cause severe damage, singular, to our society. It is predicted that the concern regarding these shops will increasingly grow in importance. Okay, that's fine. So, I like a lot of this. All right, but there is certainly room here to develop and to grow and to improve. Um, First of all, I'm going to tell you that I don't think you need so many ideas. Okay? What I want you to do is rather than have 3 ideas to support your hypothesis, is I'd rather you have maximum 2, but to really support them well. It is far more important to have well supported ideas, whether it's 1 or 2 well supported ideas, but it's far more important to do this than to have 3 or 4 reasons or ideas that are not supported. Okay. So this is really very important. A lot of people think that, oh, I can just write a list, I can show lots of ideas, and oh, isn't that wonderful? And I'll just, develop a couple of them. No, any idea that you put on that paper, it must be supported. Okay. So for that reason, you have to pick your strongest ideas and you have to really develop those and you have to, kind of run with it. You have to run with those ideas. But obviously, that means you have to select which ones are more effective, which ones are more convincing, and which ones can you write about better. Okay. So that's one thing for sure that I want you to work on here. I don't really feel like you developed society. I mean, you did in a way, like you kind of talked about society here, but it didn't really feel like it was kind of in a deliberate way. And I wanted you to do that. So the way you talked here about personal, family, and community level, I wanted something like that here. Like here, you were showing us, like, hey, I haven't forgotten that we're supposed to be talking about individual, family, and society. Here you showed it. You did not do that here, and I wanted it. I needed it. Okay. So let's see. So it brings us back to your thesis where you really overgeneralized. You talked a little bit about traditional restaurants, but I definitely do not feel it was enough. I feel like you absolutely needed to incorporate this concept more in this essay. Okay, so the comparison of how fast food pales next to traditional food, okay, or what we're losing by this loss of traditional food. So all of that needed to be included in this essay for it to be a high scoring essay in task achievement. All right, so let's take a look at your task 1 now. Okay, so we've got the letter to the friend. Here's what you wrote. Hello, Tom. Hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing to let you know how much I feel unfortunate that I could not see you last weekend when we supposed to see near your house. All right, so first of all, the hello, Tom is okay, but I want you to know that when you get the prompt for this, the prompt is what we call the question. So when you get this, it may tell you, it may tell you, begin your letter, dear, dot, dot, dot. So just keep that in mind that you may not be able to write hello and that you might be obligated to write dear. Okay, just keep an eye out for it and be aware that that might happen. Then I feel that some of this leans a little formal, semi-formal. It's supposed to be an informal letter. It says to your friend. So I would have liked a tone that is warmer than this. So hope this letter finds you well. Like I said, it's almost semi-formal. It's not really something very friendly. I would have preferred something maybe more like that sounds like really like spoken speech. So how about something like, how are you? Or how's your week been going? Or um how have you been since we last spoke? Something that just feels a little friendlier, a little warmer. Then this I am writing to let you know, etc., etc. This is really more a convention of formal letters. Again, we don't really write like this to our friends. We have this sentence where we express the reason for our writing when we're writing formal letters. So for a friendly letter, again, it should have been something like, "Hi, Tom. I hope the past couple of weeks have been going well for you. Um, I wanted to let you know how sorry I was that I couldn't see you last weekend when we were supposed to see you in, I don't know, in London. This was awkward. See you near your house. That was strange. So it's when we were supposed, with a D, to see you in London, in Dubai, in Athens, in Rome, wherever. Okay. As we talked on the phone last week, I was really excited. I was really excited about our plan to see the spectacular view of the lake next to your house. All right, it's not one of many, it's the view, okay? So, the spectacular view of the lake next to your house because 10 years have passed since I went there last, full stop, no time. However, a disaster came on to me as soon as I arrived at the station. I felt a high fever, so I could not help but go. That's a better expression here. I could not help but go to the hospital where I was diagnosed with COVID-19. So I had to stop my journey and go, not go back home by taxi immediately. Interesting. I'm sorry that I couldn't call you because of the illness. Okay, ill is an adjective, you want a noun, illness. But fortunately, I'm getting better, so we will be able to see each other soon when you are available. I hope I won't miss my chance to fish in the lake with you next time. I hope to see you soon. Have a nice day. Okay. Now, you are supposed to suggest how you can meet another time. You didn't really do that. Okay, so it feels like you completely left this blank. All you said is, we will see each other soon. I hope I can fish. That's not a suggestion on how you can meet. A suggestion is more specific. So perhaps in 2 weeks from now, when I have recovered, I can come back again and see you. That's a suggestion, perhaps. Or let's arrange to meet next month when I will be in your city again. That's a suggestion. Okay. Why don't we? Perhaps we should. This is the language of suggesting. Okay. And so that's what they want to hear from you. That's what they expect to see at a higher level response. Okay. So really, really, really pay attention to the language of these. And let's take it from there. Okay. So go ahead, correct these. I'll be waiting. Good luck to you.